Hey everyone, I'm back again with another video, and this one is a two-story video, so be sure to stick around for the second story as well. The first one is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for college for a child I have no legal obligation to anymore? Please be sure to like the video and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, so let's get right into it. For the sake of length, I'll try to stick to the facts and keep it brief. I'm a 50-year-old male, legally have 3 children with my ex, who's 51, Adam, who's 23, Chris, 21, and Sophie, who's 18. Biologically, the first 2 children are mine, and the youngest is the result of my wife's infidelity. I discovered this the day when Sophie was 2 years old, and we had to rush Sophie to the emergency room. I filed for divorce 2 months later. I got 50-50 custody of my own children, but since Sophie was legally mine, I had to pay for child support for her, and was very bitter and resentful about it. I tried to fight it at first, but in the end decided to suck it up to save myself the stress. But I made it very clear to my ex that outside of child support, I would take no other responsibility for the girl and would shut down any attempts at being her father, but I would make the effort to still be polite to Sophie. After some time, I learned to trust again and remarried a wonderful woman who made it very clear that she and her daughter were a package deal. I accepted this and did everything I could to try and be there for my stepdaughter Katie, who's 17. Aside from the typical ups and downs, I would say I managed to make a great family life for myself. We'd have family nights, I attend most after-school events, took my family on fun vacations, and put my sons through school and paid for their apartments and cars. They were on their own for gas money. Chris is expected to graduate this coming summer, and I made a silly post on social media about how relieved I was going to be that I only had one more kid to put through school left. A couple of days later, I got a message from my ex asking me to pay for Sophie's college expenses on my own since the pan has made money tight. I asked her what she meant and referred to my post, and I reminded her that my legal obligation to Sophie ended the day she turned 18, and that I was talking about Katie. My ex was furious and demanded to know why I was willing to pay for Katie and not Sophie, since neither of them are related to me. I countered by saying that I knew upfront Katie wasn't my biological child and agreed to care for her instead of being conned into doing it like I was for Sophie. After that, I got a call from Sophie asking what she did to make me hate her so much and to leave her feeling so excluded. I told her softly that I don't hate her and that nothing about this situation was her fault. But the simple truth is that it wasn't personal, I'm just not her father. Since then, my sons have told me that Sophie was becoming really depressed. My ex is blaming me, but I don't see what I have to do with it. Am I the a-hole? And the OP has some edits for us. Just to be clear, because I keep seeing the same questions. 1. The kids know why I divorced their mother. 2. My ex claims that Sophie was the result of a one-night stand and doesn't know who her father is, which is one of the reasons why I was kept on the hook for child support. 3. After I learned the truth, I was very angry and didn't think I could handle raising a child that I was tricked into caring for, so I decided to keep my distance. 4. Just because Sophie wasn't mine, and I treated it as such, doesn't mean that I was horrible to the girl. I also made sure that my children knew what had happened between their mother and me, and it was not Sophie's fault, and they should never be mean to her. And the OP has some updates for us. Thank you to everyone for their kind words of support. A lot of you have suggested therapy, and for the longest time I never felt like I needed it. But after everything new that's happened, I've decided that talking to a professional won't hurt. I thought I buried my anger and hurt towards my ex years ago, but now new information has been revealed that's just making me angry all over again. Not too long after my initial fight with my ex, she and Sophie got into a fight that ended up so bad that Sophie was kicked out of the home. Sophie called her brothers, and they in turn called me, and she's currently staying with my wife, Katie, and I. Apparently, in spite of my efforts to maintain a boundary, my ex kept telling Sophie that if she was well behaved and did good in school, that I would think of her as a daughter again. It was my ex's way of getting Sophie to be obedient. When I made my post, Sophie thought that I was finally giving her the validation that my ex had always promised, and when I didn't, it was just chaos. Sophie called my ex horrible names and demanded to know who her bio dad was. My ex refused and told her if she was going to be disrespectful, she had to live elsewhere. Originally, some of you suggested that in spite of Sophie's blood type, she could still be my daughter, and that was really starting to get to me. Now that Sophie was staying with me, I took some of her DNA and sent it off for testing and couldn't believe the results that I sent it again for a second time. To my shock, Sophie and I are indeed related. She's just not my daughter. Like I said, the bad feelings are all starting to come back to me again, but this new information is just putting me in a bad place again. I don't even know how or when to break the news to Sophie or how to even confront my ex about any of this. I feel like such a fool. And the first comment says, wow, what a twist with the update. So the father is a relative. No wonder your wife refused to reveal the father. I'm sure you have an idea of whom it is. I would sue her back for the child support when I found out. Your ex hid it because she knows it is someone close to you, not the a-hole, and this news is going to hurt. And another commenter replies, OP, I agree 100%. If you haven't already confronted your ex and or Sophie's biodad with the hard evidence, I would convene a meeting with the both of them. Invite each separately to have coffee and stagger their arrival times. Pick a neutral site. Tell the ex that you have reconsidered how to fund Sophie's college education and want to discuss it in person. Tell Sophie's biodad that you have a financial opportunity that you want his take on. When both are present, sit them down. Present copies of your hard evidence. Tell them they have two options. 1. Reimburse you for the child support you have paid for 16 years with interest, or 2. You will sue them both for paternity fraud that will then be public record. Where they get the funds is not your problem. You could sweeten the deal by telling them that you are considering giving a portion of the settlement to Sophie for her college education. They can finance the rest. And our next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not caring about my ex or her kid? Let's get right into it. I was with my ex for 12 years, married for 8 of those years. I thought we had a great relationship, however, that was proven to be a lie when I found out our child wasn't actually mine. The child was a little under 1 year old when I found out. The little girl was diagnosed with an inherited genetic disease that my wife nor I had, so after a genetic test, I was told I wasn't the father. I left her almost immediately and wished her the best with her life and hoped her daughter would do well. During the beginning of the divorce, I was served with a summons for a child support case. My lawyer told me since I acted as the father for a fair amount of time, I shouldn't be shocked if I'm ordered to pay. I wanted to fight, but I wasn't worried. I had a good backup plan. Long story short, the real father wasn't found and I was ordered to pay. She smiled pretty big after the hearing and I was upset admittedly, so I told her I'd send her a check before garnishment kicked in. I liquidated all my assets pretty quickly, took a loss on some things, but hey, I'm still young. Called my parents and they got my room ready and I moved back home. In my home country, I sent my ex a picture of me smiling back home and told her best of luck. I've gotten a few calls and letters regarding the support, but they got blocked or tossed in the trash. I don't think I'm the a-hole here. I didn't cheat and she's not my child. Some people argue about the bond, but I can't say I had a strong one considering I was ready to walk the second I heard about what was up. What does Reddit think? Am I the a-hole? And the first comment says, not the a-hole. I'm honestly amazed by all the YTA ratings you're getting. She knew damn well the kid wasn't yours and still had the audacity to go to court for child support. Good on you for leaving behind all that BS. Completely cut him out and move on with your life. She made her bed with her actions and lies. She can now lie in it. You are in no way obligated to pay up for a kid that's not yours, OP. I doubt anyone in your position would have stuck around. I wish you luck on a new happy life, OP. And a commenter replies, I think it's cool that nobody talks about how to cheat someone like that is horrible. What is the problem with people? Is playing with someone's life and putting a child in the middle okay? And the next comment says, I think this policy is a leftover from the times before paternity could be proven. It was a law to protect a child from being financially harmed by a father who wanted to avoid responsibility and who would say the kid wasn't his so he could avoid it. But now that paternity can be scientifically determined, that law needs to go. And the next comment says, considering how young the child was when you found out, I'm going to say not the a-hole. She won't even remember you. Lucky for you, you found out so soon. What the F up is up with a system that will order you to pay child support on a kid that isn't yours that you've only been raising for about a year? And the OP replied, they don't want the mom getting SNAP, I guess. And a commenter replied, I'm not sure what SNAP is, but F that system honestly. And the OP replied, it's food stamps and medical cards, no doubt. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, and be sure to comment below what other subreddits you want me to cover.